Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 30th of January. Now it's almost 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my channel in which I share latest updates on the news that are making headlines in Russian media and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. There is quite interesting news that I like to share with you, but before I start, let me ask you, if I may, to hit that like button if you find my videos interesting. Leave some commentary and share links to my videos or my channel with your friends on internet platforms that you are active on. That will greatly increase my chances to reach wider audience, and I will be very much grateful for this help. That's been said, let's talk about some news now, and of course I'm gonna start with the Ukrainian special military operation because that's main topic, one of the main topics in Russian media every day. So we have a statement from Denis Pushilin here. This is TASS news agency, and head of DPR, that's Donetsk People's Republic. Denis Pushilin is saying that Russian armed forces in previous 24 hours did establish new positions inside the city of Vuhledar and improve their positions around the city in south and east directions. Uh, According to Pushilin's statement, it's hard to say in how long it will take for Russian side to establish full control over the city, but because Zelensky's regime did send quite big reinforcement in this direction, but progress, Russian side does make progress day by day. And let me show you this city on the map. Some of you did ask me to use map if I can when I talk about special military operation, and why not really. So this is city of Vuhledar here, and on this map, this is pro-Ukrainian map. So on this map, any pro-Russian changes we will see only after few days. But if we take a statement from Denis Pushilin, and Russian Defense Ministry basically did confirm that Russian side made some progress here, then it seems like all this area here, south side and the east side, is under Russian control now. It's a long way to go because central parts and northwest parts of the city is under control of forces that are still loyal to Zelensky's regime. But you know, in a few weeks' time, maybe not days, but in few weeks' time, this town probably will become under full Russian control. Now let's talk about some other news, and here we have, this is RIA Novosti news agency, and according to sources of this agency, Zelensky's regime sending big reinforcements in direction of Chasov Yar, and yet again, let's see, which is in close proximity from Artyomovsk, same as Bakhmut. As you know, Russian side calls this city Artyomovsk, Ukrainian side Bakhmut. So let's see Chasov Yar here, and that's it. So this is Chasov Yar town, and this is Bakhmut here. And if information is correct, and Zelensky's regime is sending big reinforcements in direction of Chasov Yar, that probably means that Ukrainian armed forces preparing the withdrawal from Bakhmut. That's how I read this picture. Because if you see Bakhmut itself, I mean, it's in operational encirclement from three sides. Russian forces are attacking, and only way still under Ukrainian control is western part, and roads that are allowing Ukrainian forces to go in and out of Bakhmut are under heavy Russian artillery fire. So basically, this is trap, and maybe Bakhmut was initially planned as a trap for armed forces of Ukraine because of so much losses that Ukrainian side had in this area. And now it seems like after so many casualties, Zelensky's regime is finally deciding to leave Bakhmut and establish some new defense line around Chesov Yar. And probably that's why they are sending reinforcements in this direction. That's my guess. Yet again, I'm not military expert, but only so many casualties they can take in Bakhmut, man. So probably we will see new defense line here, but yet again, time will tell. Let's go and see some other news. We have statement from Defense Minister of Ukraine, Alexei Reznikov, who did give an interview to Canadian TV company CBC, and in this interview he stated that Kyiv hopes that Western main battle tanks that was promised to Ukraine will arrive soon enough so that they will be used in spring offensive. And we have here some numbers here about Western-made battle tanks that was promised to Ukraine. I'm quite sure most of you are familiar with these numbers, but I will say it for those that maybe don't know yet. USA did promise to Ukraine 31 M1 Abrams tanks. Germany did promise 14 Leopard 2 main battle tanks. So did Poland. Great Britain did promise 14 Challenger 2 tanks, and some other NATO member states promised to provide also some quantity of Leopard 2 tanks. Sweden promised to provide their own Swedish-made battle tanks. So overall, around 100 tanks was promised, 100 Western-made battle tanks was promised to Zelensky's regime. And even though these 100 tanks, even if they arrive tomorrow, don't change anything really on the front line. From a media standpoint and propaganda standpoint, this topic was used by West in a big way. There was so many talks about these tanks that, but now we're gonna have the same picture about jets, as I said in my yesterday's video. So, but when it comes to offensive and of Zelensky's Nazi regime, and as you know, even Biden did talk about some mysterious Ukrainian offensive. This offensive will probably take place in the direction of Melitopol and Berdyansk, if it takes place at all. And let me show you on the map. This is Crimea here, and as you see, this in red is a so-called land bridge from Crimea to mainland Russia, and we have here city of Melitopol and the city of Berdyansk, port city of Berdyansk. And probably if there will be any large-scale offensive from Zelensky's Nazi regime, they will try to take control over the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, Energodar city, Melitopol, and Berdyansk. In that way, they will cut, or at least try to cut, this land bridge from Crimea to mainland Russia. But in my understanding, militarily, Of course, Ukrainian side may try, you know, and they will probably, because we do see some activities in Kherson region. We do know that in Zaporozhye region, Zelensky's regime did accumulate around 40,000 soldiers and large quantities of military equipment. But I'm quite sure, in military terms, Zelensky's regime will never defeat Russian side, not in this area, not in any other area. But because of these strange Russian regroupings from Kharkov region, from Krasny Liman, then from Kherson region, to be honest, I'm not sure that there will be no more these kind of regroupings. And that's why in my previous videos I did talk about possibility that Ukrainian side will take, theoretically may establish control over the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant and city of Energodar, Melitopol and Berdyansk. But I was talking about that this may happen only if yet another Russian regrouping will take place. And I'm still thinking that only way Zelensky's regime will be able to achieve any military success in this or in any other area, and I'm talking about big military success, it's only if Russian side will conduct some yet regrouping, so-called regrouping, and that may happen because of this Kharkov example and this Kherson example. And when I was talking about this topic, even though I'm gonna choose my words carefully, but I was saying that Western elites and Western secret services will use their assets in Russian military and political leadership to somehow enforce or push Russian side towards decision to regroup from here too. Maybe that's how those regroupings from Kharkov and Kherson did take place. Maybe that's Western influence. Maybe. I'm just, speculating here. But anything is possible in these crazy times, man. So, yes, let's see. If there is any offensive, that's gonna be probably in the election of Melitopol and Berdyansk, as I said. But time will tell. Time will tell. Let's continue. And here we have information from Russian Foreign Ministry, which says that Poland and Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania may cut diplomatic ties with Russia. And to be honest, of course, I would not be surprised if these states will cut diplomatic ties with Russia. But I'm surprised that, knowing this, probably from some intelligence sources, why Russia would not act first and did not cut diplomatic ties with those countries. Why not? Me personally, I don't care if Russia has or don't have diplomatic ties with these neo-Nazi Baltic states that are celebrating SS units. And probably you are familiar that veterans, so-called veterans, man, they are war criminals of SS units that were fighting on the side of Nazi Germany in Second World War. They are marching in those Baltic states, man, and they are, they are how you say it in English, man, promoted as some kind of heroes, man. These Nazi war criminals, man. So I have every right to say that Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, they are Nazi states, and Russia don't really need any ties with any diplomatic or economical ties with these republics. You know, Russian speakers in these republics are treated as some second, like subhumans, man, like second class humans, second class citizens, man. You know, that's what apartheid did in South Africa. That's what those racists did in South Africa, you know, when they ruled there. And now these Estonian, Latvian, and Lithuanian Nazis are treating Russian speakers as second-class citizens. So I don't understand why Russia needs any ties with those countries. Russia don't. When it comes to Poland, you know, I find always hard to understand this Russophobia, you know, from Polish elites, but you know, it is what it is, man. Because I have nothing against Polish society, man, or Polish people. When I was living in England, for example, you know, I was at one point I was renting a room in a house where Polish people were living. Great people, man, you know. We become friends, you know, and for God's sake, man, it's just sad, you know, that Poland and Russia are in this kind of crazy relationships, man. It's just sad, you know, because, you know, everyone probably understands, even in Poland, that they've been used against Russia by Anglo-Saxon elites. Let's be clear about it, you know. So it is what it is, man. What else? Oh, this one is interesting. Let me check how many minutes this video is. Oh. Okay, it's almost 20 minutes. So this is gonna be probably last week news. Okay, two more news that I will share, and yeah, this is it. This is RIA Novosti, and we have here statements from Turkish President of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who did give some very, very strong words to President of France, Emmanuel Macron. And let me translate it, man. Let me translate it. Because when I read it, I was kind of surprised, because it's, you know, after all, you may don't like Macron, and I don't, definitely. I think he should never become president of France, but it's not up to me. If French citizens want this kind of president, then, you know. But let's read what Erdogan says. The person who is the head of France is not qualified to be the head of the state. Look, they are currently exploiting African countries. Mali is in a state of complete break with France. Burkina Faso give them a deadline to leave. And I guess Togo will do the same. And let me continue. Where there is no honesty, there is no trust. Of course, there are many such leaders in the world. Unfortunately, they ignore Turkey in the relations with Greece in the Mediterranean and enter different relations with her. And there are many different expressions in which I told him, let it stay with me. Okay, so basically we have here conflict between France and Turkey. It was obvious that France and Turkey are in conflict. So he is also saying, Erdogan, that Macron as a president lost reputation in its own parliament. And because of him, even France is losing its prestige in international stage. And he does have some points, of course, because Macron definitely did act like some kind of, I don't know, man. I don't want to use terminologies, but Macron did not act as a serious politician in many occasions. Not just towards Turkey, but towards Russia too. Because as you know, once they even published text of telephone call that he had with the Russian president. And as you know, information about this calls, only little part of information is becoming open. Rest of it is just stays secret. But for some strange reasons, Macron and his administration did not follow this rule. And of course, they lost respect from Russian side straight away. If they ever respect this person, basically. But when it comes to Turkish and French relationships, they do have some issues, not just in Africa. For example, in Libya, France is supporting one side of internal conflict there. Turkey is supporting other side. But they have conflict in Mediterranean when it comes to Greece too, because there are some issues with Ireland, there are some issues with drilling rights, who has what right to drill where, because Greece and France is supporting Greece in this matter. They want to basically use those gas fields that are in the Mediterranean, and for themselves to explore these gas fields. But Turkish wants to have some how we say, some cut in this deal, or maybe Turkey wants on its own to develop all those gas fields that are recently found in Mediterranean basin area. So yes, Turkey has some big problems, because France is, after all, a major player in at least in European Union and in the Western world. So for Erdogan, it's gonna be very difficult to even save his position inside Turkey, because God knows what will happen in next presidential election, which is coming like in few months' time. So this is interesting. But yet again, I was surprised, because usually leaders of countries don't talk about other leaders in this manner. But it seems like relationships between Ankara and Paris are in lowest point for decades. And one more news. Here we have statement from Dmitry Peskov, spokesperson of Russian president, and he said that Boris Johnson did lie when he said that Russian president threatened him with missiles and stuff, in one of the phone calls. And this is some kind of movies will be premiered in Western world in these days, and probably Johnson is in that movie, in that documentary. It said that Putin did threaten him with missiles and try to bully him. But yet again, this is not Johnson. Yet again, Johnson was Prime Minister of Britain, and I don't think Prime Ministers should act like like they are some kind of clowns, man, and talk about topics that was in even if it's true, man. It was private talk. It was not public talk, isn't it? So if it's private talk of two leaders of the state, this should stay private. But for Johnson, it seems like, he was clown and he will die clown, as a clown, And he did said some crazy stuff that Putin did threaten him with missiles. Why Putin needs to threaten you? Are you don't know that Russia does have some missiles, including nuclear capable ones? I mean, what is the point to threaten in this case? If Russia did not have it and pretend to have, then okay, but Russia does more intercontinental ballistic missiles that Boris Johnson probably can count. So what is the point for Putin to threaten this clown? I don't know. But anyhow, this is it. This is it for today. I hope you find this video interesting. And if so, please hit that like button, leave some commentary, and share links to my videos or my channel with your friends on internet platforms that you are active on. That will greatly help me, and I'll be very much grateful for it. This is it for now. Take care and see you soon.